What's up, guys? Here with you at FC Wonderkid. Here with my guy, Pedro. Happy New Year, and how are you?
Thanks, mate. Guess who's back? And all suited up.
And Fulham top 7. Fulham are top 7.
Yeah, I predicted it though.
Facts.
Due to the season Fulham had last year in the championship, where they broke the record for points that achieved by any team ever in the championship.
And Mitrovic goals.
Scoring more than 40 goals.
Facts.
Man, it was crazy. And this year, they have a stronger squad. And I truly believed since the beginning with Mark Silva, they could achieve the top 7 spot. And
you think they're still going to end top 7 in the Prem?
I still think they got a chance. Even if you look at every match Fulham has played with the top 6 team in England, it was always clutch matches, okay?
Palhinha.
Yeah, but even when they lost, they only lost by 1, and it was really, really hard, okay?
Very true.
Against
Silva.
Liverpool, against United, always by 1 goal. And Palhinha has been crucial to this side. I've said it.
Top 5 CDM.
I've said it many times. João Palhinha is a top 5 CDM. He deserves a world-class move this summer, okay?
Where to? United got Casemiro.
Yeah, United now has Casemiro, but I would say maybe Chelsea. Why not Chelsea?
Chelsea, I would like, personally, I love Palhinha, but I think Chelsea should get Moises Caicedo right now, because Graham Potter knows the player too, but Palhinha would definitely, I'd say, if Kante leaves, Zacharias right there, Palhinha starts ahead of him. And he's a great CDM too, so, but I think Moises Caicedo. But let me go back now, like Palhinha will for sure be called up for Portugal and should start for Portugal too.
I mean, if Roberto Martinez doesn't call up Palhinha and doesn't start him, come on, we need to find another coach.
I'll say Florentino Luis. Florentino Luis deserves a mention for me. William, ahead of William.
He deserves
new generation.
Come on, not at the moment. He deserves to be called up for some time, for some tests. But Florentino is not ready to be a starter in the Portuguese national
He's better
team.
than William Carvalho, Florentino
I don't think
Luis.
so. At the moment, I don't think so.
But
listen,
really think it.
João Palhinha is the player that João
Yes.
Palhinha is a player that makes the difference. And if you see him playing, he's everywhere. He's covering all the field, and he's covering his teammates when they're out of place. So I think it's really key in João Palhinha's movement.
And you mentioned options, and Mitrovic, yes, great goal scorer, and he showed at the start of the season in the Prem. And on the bench, Carlos Vinicius, that was really good for Benfica. And now at Fulham, he's showing up.
And he's not always on the bench. I reckon that last round he scored the winning goal.
He did. No, that's why
he started the game.
That's crucial subs right there.
So Mark Silva now has more than one option for the attacking place, for the attacking position, depending on how their opponents will line up.
And let's go now to the top teams. People want to know. And
Fulham's the top team. Come on, man.
And Newcastle too. Wanted to say that too. Maybe we'll talk Newcastle at the end. But now I need to ask: will Arsenal win the league, Pedro?
I think at the moment I cannot see them as not being top contenders. Arsenal are currently the top contenders to win the Premier League.
But will they win it for you?
I think that they will win it, but they will kind of choke at some point. It's impossible to replicate that invincible.
They have 1 loss still.
Yeah.
You think they'll have like 3 losses at the end?
Most likely, yeah, and a couple of draws.
But Bukayo Saka, best player of Arsenal right now.
At the moment, I have to agree with you. I think Bukayo Saka has proven himself key to this Arsenal development.
And for England, man, in the World Cup.
And even, man, Gabriel Jesus, when he was fit.
Big loss.
Martinelli's reappearance.
6 million.
And Martinelli's reborn, man.
Facts.
Martinelli's reborn. Xhaka reborn as well.
Facts. He changed a lot. Martinelli for 6 million. And if he was injury free right now, Martinelli would 100% be much more talked.
But if I have to pinpoint the key to Arsenal's success,
you're gonna say Partey.
No. Both of their center backs,
Saliba.
Gabriel and Saliba, have been an amazing duo this season, and Man, Arsenal doesn't concede that many goals.
No. And Ramsdale, Zinchenko, I want to give shout-outs to them. And Ben White at right back too was a good decision.
London
by
Derby,
Arteta.
0 goals conceded by the defensive side of Arsenal, and I really think it's going to be the key point for them to clinch the title this year.
I'm going to say the key point for me, they need another goal scorer. Okay, Gabriel Jesus injured. They have to sign a forward in this transfer window.
They were going for Mudryk, but Chelsea got ahead.
And do you think Mudryk should be valued 100 million?
I mean, I think that transfer has a premium, and I'm thankful it has, due to him being an Ukrainian player.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Shakhtar donated 25 million of Mudryk's transfer
Yes.
to the army and to people in Ukraine.
Yes.
So massive respect to Shakhtar Donetsk. And I think that's why Chelsea was into paying that premium. Okay.
And I think it's objectives too. I think up front it's not 100.
It's 70. It's 70 and 30 million for objectives. That's what I heard.
If Mudryk gets the goal straight away, but going back, I think Arsenal definitely need a player like Mudryk. And the ideal, if Arsenal will spend 100 million for a winger, because if it costs 100 million for Kavisha Kvaratskhelia, just go get him for Napoli. I don't think Napoli at all will sell him, but from 10 million to 100 million, six months.
But they will
man.
not sell him until the end of the season. They
I
want to
agree.
clinch the title. Napoli wants to clinch the title. They're so close this year.
But Arsenal just need another winger. They need another winger. And I'm just saying, if it's bold, but if I had to pay 100, that's the player I'd pay. Raphael Leão. That's
I don't think Milan is gonna let go of a failure on this season.
They're gonna extend. Well, they're gonna extend. That's the conversation.
And that's a smart thing to do. Raphael Leão, for me, it's top 3 potential wise in the world. Right behind Haaland and Mbappe. For
and
me,
Vinicius.
I think Raphael Leão might be better than Vinicius in the future.
That's bold. You got Rodrigo too. You got a lot of name. Pedri for me, not a winger. But
The only
still.
thing is Raphael Leão needs to gain that consistency that great players have. And once he does that, he's going to be unstoppable.
So Raphael Leão getting a move one day to like Real Madrid, Raphael Leão, if they have Mbappe on the other side.
He's been linked to Chelsea this summer, Raphael Leão.
I don't think.
But I would have, not anymore with Mudryk going
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
But before, I think it would be a good fit.
And Arsenal. We're talking Arsenal, so yes. So the conversation right now, Arteta, for me, has to be praised, has to be talked more. Arteta ball is real, and the players believe totally in what Arteta says. Arteta is the boss. The boss.
And I would like to praise Arsenal's board, okay? It's not easy to keep the coach and to keep the trust in the coach
True.
nowadays when people forget all about the past all the time. And that's really a positive sign that Arsenal trusted Arteta for the long run, and now it seems to be paying off. So, my respect to the Arsenal board.
And we mentioned Chelsea. And put down below, do you believe Arsenal is going to win the league? We want to see you guys in the comment section. We will answer the
Chelsea,
comments.
in the last year, almost 400 million
Almost
euros
no.
spent.
Chelsea has spent more than 400 million pounds.
Oh yeah, with
man.
Mudryk now, they
Yes,
surpassed it. In
yes.
the last year only.
Yes,
That's
and
crazy,
in this
man.
transfer window, that loan move was 9 million pounds for João Félix. Fofana, great striker, 10 million move. I think that was cheap for the good striker in Molde. People, Ivory Coast striker, remember the name. But yes, you have huge inflated deals. Wesley Fofana, 80 million. He's injured, I know. Cucurella, 60 million. Like, he's on the bench, not even injured. So, Sterling, reportedly
that's
Chelsea. Aubameyang was bought. Sterling was bought. A lot of
And
deals.
Aubameyang seems to be on the go as well.
And I really think these deals are going back because the directors that they bought, the scouting directors, the sporting directors, everybody director, Todd Boehly's appointing you. And they said, these aren't the players, man. These aren't the players. Mudryk is the player. João Félix is a player.
So do you think Todd Boehly is giving Graham Potter some slack?
I think the directors trust Graham Potter too. And
I don't think he's the guy.
Ooh, you
And
think Graham Potter should go?
And I think Brighton, run out right now because they need to find a good replacement. But I think in the long run, Graham Potter won't be at Chelsea.
But
And
what's
listen,
the long run?
And
This summer?
listen. Brighton has proven that their success was not only due to Graham Potter. after he left, Brighton have been doing amazingly. Okay.
True.
So proving that it was not only Graham Potter there.
I agree. One of the best clubs in recruitment.
And football's and Chelsea's football quality with Graham Potter has not been that great. So I don't think he's the guy to make a difference at Chelsea. But then again, he also needs some time, as Arteta had in Arsenal, to impose his game style. Nonetheless, I've always seen Graham Potter as a defensive style coach, and I don't think that Chelsea fans want that kind of football.
I think counter football, yes, he does play more in transitions, but Graham Potter still comes with the idea of a new project and a rebuild. I think he'll have. That's why I really want to know the time on that, because I think until the summer, Graham Potter stays. Graham Potter stays, and if not, that's because they really know they're gonna get a top manager. If Chelsea can get right now Zinedine Zidane to replace Potter, should they do it?
Absolutely. Come on, man. You're talking about one of the greatest managers ever.
100%. 100%. I think Zidane in the Champions League did it. It's bold. But like
you're comparing Zidane, 3-time Champions League winner, I think, with a guy that his biggest achievement was to win the Swedish Cup. So, come on. With a weak side.
And he was like what division? But what I mean is like he still came with the intention of a rebuild with Chelsea. So let's see. But talking about Chelsea, for more than 400 million spent. Now United. Things have changed now at the club. Erik ten Hag has beaten Klopp, has beaten Conte, has beaten help me out.
He has beaten every top 6 manager in the Premier League now, right?
Erik ten Hag.
Yeah, I think
okay,
so.
So that's his
Guardiola, Conte, Arteta. He beat Arsenal.
Yes.
So yeah, a great start for Erik ten Hag. I mean, for the first couple of matches, it was a little bit shaky. But now that the horse in the room is gone, seemingly, Man United really upped their performance. And I think, for me, two pinpoints for Man United. First one, Casemiro. Okay, Casemiro not only changed the mentality, but he changed Man United's heart. Okay, Casemiro plays with heart. He loves the club. He loves the fans, and he gives it his all on the pitch.
And he does what Fred and McTominay couldn't do for all those years.
That's true. And the other point, and you know who I'm going to talk about. Not Rashford yet. Come on, wait a minute. For me, the big Swiss Army knife that Man United has in their pocket is Bruno Fernandes. For me, the best midfielder in the last third of the pitch. He takes risks, but it pays off in the world. In the world.
Oh my days!
In the world, man, he's so underrated.
I think De Bruyne's underrated. I think
De Bruyne takes less risks than Bruno Fernandes. So De Bruyne loses possession less times than Bruno Fernandes because he takes less risks. But if you take a look at statistics, Bruno Fernandes has put up those numbers.
That's really bold saying Bruno Fernandes.
He has been so underrated, man. He has been so underrated, undeserved hate. We've seen it at the World Cup. And now, since Ronaldo is gone, Bruno Fernandes has upped his performance. Let me say this. Bruno Fernandes, to perform, he needs to be the center of the team.
Okay.
The gameplay needs to be organized by him.
Him and Eriksen right now. Eriksen.
But I still see Bruno as the main man.
I think Bruno Fernandes, that chemistry now with Rashford, and when a top number 9 involves 2 at Man United, I think it's going to be absolutely insane. And let's see that renewal too at Rashford. Hope it goes well for Man United, for both sides. But Bruno Fernandes, let me ask you this. You mentioned World Cup, so do you think Bruno Fernandes was the best midfielder in this World Cup?
I don't think so because Portugal didn't make it to the final. But if he had a few more couple of matches, he could have been.
I think that's really bold. I go Modric. I think he was better.
Yeah, I agree with you because Croatia went to the semis and Modric was really consistent.
Griezmann.
But Bruno Fernandes...
He was not really strong.
Bruno Fernandes was harmed by Fernando Santos, I think. By Fernando Santos' tactics and by his choices. I think every single Portuguese player was a little bit harmed by Fernando Santos' game style, okay?
No, Renato Sanches too straight before even the tournament started. That was like, we saw the decision making from then on.
And if he wants to play with transitions, Renato Sanches would be the perfect player. But as we all know, Fernando Sanches doesn't like that kind of game. So
Let's see. And going back now to United, I agree totally. Casemiro was the right move. And I'm gonna say this too. Like in the past decade, I didn't have this feeling with Man United, and now I can say when the transfer is done to Man United with Erik ten Hag, the likelihood it's a good move. Because there's no move done by Erik ten Hag. Casemiro, Malacia, Lisandro Martinez, like Weghorst, 6 months, 3 million only. Every move I see from him was a smart move. And I think Casemiro improved Fred. Now people say, Fred's a good player. He was always a good player. Malacia improves Luke Shaw. Competition.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I want to ask you about another Man United player that has improved his performance since the start of the season. And he was not called up for the World Cup. I'm talking about David De Gea here, okay? Do you think he deserved to be called up for the World Cup?
Deserved of all, I think so. But I think Luis
I'm not saying starting, but come on, not being included in the three goalkeepers?
But you have Thiago Alcantara too. Wasn't called up too for Spain. You got Sergio Ramos. De Gea is another one. I think Luis Enrique just wanted to be the big man.
I don't know, but Thiago Alcantara and Sergio Ramos had the injury problems. Okay, it's understandable. For me, it's more of a scandal that David De Gea wasn't called up.
Wait. So you're talking De Gea. So you think De Gea should stay at Man United next season?
I'm not sure if Ten Hag is counting on him or if he's looking at for another keeper.
I don't think so.
Just because De Gea doesn't know how to play with his feet.
I think De Gea, first thing, if he's staying at Man United, he needs to allow his contract, his salary needs to go half. He's getting 300, I think. He's reportedly earning more than 300k a week. Okay, and that is that's putting him Casemiro.
Could we see a switch with Atletico Madrid? Oblak for a return of De Gea?
Oblak to Man United. Oblak hasn't been the best of keepers recently too for Atletico de Madrid.
But we all know what he's capable of.
Yes, but I think Diogo Costa, I want to reference that once again because of the ball distribution, okay, of Diogo Costa, and I think Man United would like that. I think the best scenario would be get Diogo Costa. I think that would be a good move for Man United. And keeping De Gea and having him as a bench. But needs to accept the lesser salary. A lesser salary. De Gea right now is one of the most well-paid goalkeepers in the world. So they need to fix that, in my opinion. And yeah, we mentioned Diogo Dalot too. He is close to his contract. They opted for one more year with Diogo Dalot. But Dumfries is in the news now after going to Man United. I don't know if it's true, but right back.
And Diogo Dalot is not playing right now.
And Bissaka improved a lot since then too. So
another resurgence, Van Bissaka, that's true.
Yeah, Will Maguire research.
We'll never know, man. We'll never know.
I think
Will we see the fridge lining up again?
Man, Maguire should move out of Man United, in my opinion. I think a project like Newcastle would be very interesting. And Tottenham,
it might reignite Maguire's football going to Newcastle.
Yeah, maybe. Tough, man. They're tough players. But yeah, they got I like Botman too there, and yeah, Dan Burn, Trippier. They're
Schär as well.
Yeah, Fabian Schär, that's the guy. Phenomenal season from him too.
Yeah, that's true. From all the Newcastle players, actually. So now you want to switch to Man City first, or you want to go straight ahead?
Let me just ask you this: if you're Man United this summer, who's the number 9 you're getting?
I mean, yeah, for sure Weghorst's going to be a sub.
Let me say this, so, because I thought this out, I'll give you some thought on it. Gonçalo Ramos can be referenced, want to say. I think if Man United wants to get a world-class number 9 that wants to prove themselves too in the Prem, it's Harry Kane, in my opinion. If Harry Kane goes to Bayern Munich,
I would go for a cheaper option.
Guaranteed trophies.
I would go for a cheaper option.
And Man United, he would, if they won a Prem with Erik ten Hag too, Kane would be the consequence of that title too, and people will give him a lot more credits. If he wins at Manchester
Alex,
United.
Of course, it would be amazing for United that Harry Kane moved there because it's most likely top 2 best number 9s in the world.
Benzema, Lewandowski.
Okay, top 3, yeah, sorry. But listen.
Come Come on.
I would go
even Haaland.
Listen,
Haaland.
yeah, I forgot about Haaland.
Top 4.
But I would go for another option, okay? I would go for an underrated striker that still has to prove himself in a big league, but I truly think if given a chance, he will make it. If I were Man United, I would go for Mehdi Taremi this summer.
60 million release clause.
I think he has the ability to be a top striker in the world. Okay?
Can he score more than 20 goals in the Premier League? That's what's needed.
I think so. I think Mehdi Taremi has what it takes, and he can provide those assists as well. And we've seen in the World Cup, he performed well for Iran. And I really do think that he is above Porto's capability. He's above of the Portuguese league capability. He is the pure number 9 United should be looking for.
Interesting option, man. Gonçalo Ramos, referenced. I want to say once again, man, if Gonçalo Ramos goes to Man United.
Yeah, but I would go for Mehdi Taremi because even United could get Taremi for 25, 30 mil.
60.
You think so? He's 30 years old.
Porto sees.
He's 30 years old.
Porto sees Man United.
No chance that Porto is going to ask for 60 million for a 30-year-old player.
If Taremi leaves in January, it has to be 60. It has to be
for
60.
a 30-year-old.
I really think Porto sees Man United.
No chance. Man United waves with 35 million. Of course, Taremi. Taremi will say Taremi will say to the board and Pinto Costa, "Come on, it's my only chance to move to a top league. I can't lose this." They would accept 35. I'm sure.
Let's see. What do you guys believe? Tell us in the comment section. And we reference City fast. What's happening at Man City? Is it the Haaland effect in a bad way, not getting the right results?
Listen, I think the problem is not in the attack. I think it's a little bit towards the defensive part.
Hakanji and Hake starting. You don't like that?
I like them, but they're a little bit too unpredictable and not that consistent. And also, I would like to say that Cancelo has not been performing very well in the last few months defensively.
Better, but last 2 games, I want to say, he's showing. He's showing now.
Yeah, but I mean, Cancelo was being discussed as one of the best fullbacks in the world, and then suddenly, poof, he was gone. But now he's been seeming to regaining some form, but still, is not the player we are used to seeing.
But that hiccup, man, with the national team too, like what happened in the World Cup with João Cancelo, that was weird for me, and for us too, not having Nuno Mendes at left back. Like when he played, Nuno was outstanding.
Big loss for Portugal.
Top left backs, man. And so
for now, I would have to say the bigger man for City at the moment would be Mahrez.
Mahrez.
Yeah, and he scored against Chelsea twice for the EFL Cup.
I think Rodri. I'll talk Rodri.
Okay, it's debatable. Yeah, I understand your point of view, but I'm saying more of a kind of a final third finisher and decider, you know.
And Foden too. I was expecting more of Foden in the Manchester derby, and it was very interesting for me too. Grealish. Best moment ever.
The World Cup wasn't good for Foden because he lost rhythm.
So, yeah, it's true. I agree with that, too. And it was a very good World Cup for who in that City team? Julian Alvarez. And people now need to mention him more to start for Man City.
But before the season started, I told you that in the long run, Julian Alvarez is going to be a best fit for City than Haaland.
A better fit?
You'll see, because I reckon that Haaland eventually is going to leave, and I think Julian Alvarez will stay for the long run.
And a City legend.
I do think so. He's like Kun Agüero-esque, you know.
He's got some traits of Kun Agüero.
Some resemblances, yeah.
La
Araña.
I think the movement, how he's so mobile as a striker, it does resemble Julian Alvarez and Kun Agüero. I agree with that, and I'd love to see more of Alvarez with City because he deserves just that. And do you have some players that City should be interested right now? Because Pep Guardiola signed an extension. And if a coach signs an extension, is what transfers in his mind. So what do you think?
Listen, I know he's at loan at Chelsea right now, but I don't see why they shouldn't try and get João Félix. For me, João Félix would be the perfect fit for City for some years now.
And if he succeeds at Chelsea, Man City will be
drooling for him. Come on, totally. João Félix, if he performs, I know that he can be top 10 in the Ballon d'Or if João Félix performs.
I agree with that.
At his level.
I agree. We saw it at Benfica with Seferovic. Seferovic. And that's why Chelsea need to put a striker in front of Félix. Félix in those minutes showed, I'm better than Kai Havertz. I am better than Kai Havertz for this Chelsea team. Ziyech, Pulisic, Mudryk, Félix, and a striker will be very interesting for Chelsea. That's why I think the results will come. Reece James too, man. Just put Reece James at the right. Graham Potter's praying for that to happen. Oh my days. But I have another one with City that I wanted to ask you. Do you think Pep Guardiola is going to win a Champions League with Man City?
I do think he will not leave until he conquers. I think Guardiola is not going to leave City without conquering the Champions League.
How long will it take?
I'm not sure, but he could make it this year. I mean, they have not given up yet the Premier League, but I think their sole focus now is the Champions League.
Those comments of saying that other teams should win the Prem in the meantime.
Actually, I do think City are going to finish outside of the top 2 this year in the Premier League.
What?
And
United?
That is one of the factors why I'm saying this, because once they have a Champions League fixture and the Premier League fixture in the same week, they will focus on the Champions League fixture, no doubt. Okay?
Man City, 100%.
And Man United plays the Europa League.
But what if they get Real Madrid, Man City?
That's gonna be tough. A tough
Man,
one.
every Chelsea.
It doesn't matter the players Real Madrid has. They can have me playing as a striker. If you end up matching Real Madrid in the Champions League. Oh man!
For me, it's a
tough.
madness how everyone in Europe fears Real Madrid, and Real Madrid fears Barcelona.
No matter the season.
Real Madrid fears Barcelona.
And no
man.
matter the season, that always happens.
It's
crazy.
Pedri, Gavi. What a game, man, from him. Golden boy for a reason. What a game. 2023 is going to be Pedri and Gavi's
So talented.
Those two.
But listen, mates, I think
Yes.
we're missing one of the top teams in England this season, Newcastle. So what are your remarks on Newcastle this season?
Newcastle, for me, Newcastle showing that they spend what on that defense? 55 million pounds, more or less, 60 million pounds. Nick Pope, Trippier, Sven Botman, Dan Burn, all those players. That's the reason why. That's the reason why they're so successful. And then you have a midfielder that literally Real Madrid's interested, Bruno Guimarães. That shows that the recruitment, just like Brighton goes bold, Newcastle goes bold too, and Fulham. These teams showing that they do much better decisions financially and with transfers than Everton, than West Ham. Those clubs are dipping big time. Dipping.
And
Because
what
of that.
about Almiron's season? He's been phenomenal for Newcastle.
Eddie
No
Howe.
one was expecting these kind of
I'm going to give
performances.
credit to Eddie Howe for that. Eddie Howe mentally understands the player he has. And come on, what if you're a team that can literally say to your players, look at the bonuses you'll have if you get top 4. We don't know what they're going to receive, these players, for the results they're
And
getting.
we don't know who's going to Newcastle if they finish top 4.
And mentally, Eddie Howe is doing an extremely good. You think that contract?
We'll talk about that later on, yeah.
So Eddie Howe, for me, is the best English manager right now in terms of results. Like Southgate for England, great. He had a peak too. But Eddie Howe, overall, he's amazing, man.
And people were having a lot of doubt when Newcastle hired Eddie Howe.
It's because one club man, Bournemouth, Eddie Howe. I do he was the reason why all those decisions from third League One, Championship, he was always improving himself too, because he was a player and he was a bold decision even for Bournemouth when he started. That's why he stayed so long. So. Such a good investment for Newcastle.
And they getting Callum Wilson was an amazing.
I agree.
Amazing transfer.
And Alex Isaac, 70 million for a young striker.
He
right
scored
now.
the winner against Fulham.
Exactly, and
So he's giving Newcastle some points already.
And if he develops right, I see Moussa Diaby in the news. I see right moves.
And they have the money to keep those players now.
I agree.
So they don't have to leave.
Man, facts. They're the
Because
richest club.
if Chelsea or City waive them. Newcastle owners will just say, okay, here you go, 10 million a year.
Bruno
Are you happy?
Guimarães, man. What can Bruno Guimarães and the fans too?
Playing the Prem, possibly being in the Champions League,
Yes.
earning big bucks. So why leave Newcastle now?
How long though do you think Newcastle will take to win a Premier League? Because with that type of money that they
it's gonna
have,
be very, very tough.
it's inevitable.
I do think that there's like a 20% chance in the next 8 years. Probably.
20%. That's mate. That's so accurate. That's an accurate.
But listen, it's because listen,
But
you
explain
have
why 8 World Cups.
man, you have United, City, Tottenham, Chelsea, Arsenal, all investing. Okay, all with those big American big bucks investors. Okay, so for them to succeed. Every other single team on the top
so
6
specific.
needs to have an off season, and having an off season when you're investing that much, it's really really tough.
I do think though,
And
Guimarães.
it's not that the process just started. These teams have a process that started years ago.
I agree.
And Newcastle's just starting now, so I think there's a 20% chance, and I'm being really optimistic that Newcastle wins the Premier League in the next 8 years.
Look, I'm gonna go bold. If they win in 4 or 5 years, I'm not shocked. If Newcastle win the Prem in 4 or 5 years, I'll be like, I could see that. Like, it's bold, but they got Bruno Guimarães right. Nick Pope even as a goalkeeper.
And
Like,
could they bring Ronaldo next season?
So that's what I was gonna ask you. Do you believe in that special contract saying that Ronaldo, if Newcastle gets top 4 in Champions League, he has a move there?
Man, I don't know anything anymore about. After Ronaldo moved to Saudi Arabia, I was shocked. I mean, by the values, I'm not shocked because come on, he's human, and he wants to
200 million.
maximize. He wants to maximize his career. But I just want to say,
And he wants to buy a European club, reportedly.
which one?
Don't know. Just a lot of reports are surging, and I can say right now, I totally believe that he wants to buy a club in Europe. A European giant would be very bold, but let's see. Let's see.
He certainly has the cash.
If there's a player that can buy a European giant, it's Cristiano Ronaldo. It's Cristiano Ronaldo.
And putting himself playing every match until he's like 50 years old.
Goat!
Listen,
Oh my days.
but can we switch the topic, or you want to finish with the Prem first?
Yes, people. Tell us down below what you think will happen in the Premier League and what you agree and disagree with us in the comment section. Thank you.